So guys, in this part we are going to set up our player. For doing that, we need to go first, we need to make a plane. So here I'm going to right click 2D object and then I'm clicking on plane. As you see, it's a really small. If I'm go a little bit near, so we want to make it bigger. So we are going to scale here and put it at 20 and 20. Then also I'm going to make the position at 0, 0, and 0. So as next, I'm going to our asset. Here I'm going to create a new folder, call it material. Then I'm going inside, right click, create material. I'm going to call it ground color. Then I'm going to change the color to another color. Here click on albedo, then choose the color that you want. So I'm going to choose the almost dark green. Then after that, just drag your material to your plane. As you see, the plane get the color of your material. In the next step, let's make our player. So here, when you right click, create an empty object, I'm going to call it player. Then here I'm going to reset it. Then I'm going to put the y at 3. So I want our player be a little bit above our ground. So now we are going to our player, click on that, right click, then we are going to create another empty object. I'm going to call it camera container. Then I'm going to put the camera container at Y position 1.8, a little bit higher. So now the next part we need to bring our main camera to our camera container. So just click on it, drag it to camera container. So now I'm going to just reset our position to 0 and 0. So next part we are going to our player again. Here I'm going to add capsule collider. So now I'm going to radius. I'm going to make it 0.2D or maybe 24. Then the height, I'm going to put it at 1.8. And the center, here I'm going to put it at 0.9. So now if I'm turning on the 2D, as you see that the button of our capsule collider should be at the end of our the player feed should be at the end of the capsule collider. So now I'm going to add another component, and that one is our rigid body. Here I'm going to make the mass at 10. Then I'm going to constraints and I'm going to check X, Y, Z. So that means we don't want that the rigid body get the control of our rotation. We want just to get the control of our rotation from our script. That's why we need to freeze that rotation. So now I'm going to our layer here at the top. I'm going to add a new layer. Then I'm going to call that new layer to, I'm going to put it at number 8, player. Then I'm going back again to our player and change from the default to player. And it asks us if we want to do it for the children too. We say no, we just want that our player get the layer of player. So just know this object only. And as you see, the player got the player, but the children still they are at default. Now also the tag, for the tag, I'm going to click on player and change it as a player 2. So later when we want to pick up some item, we need that tag. So now let's go to our skip folder. Here I'm going to right click, create an empty shop, going to call it player controller. Then I'm going to attach that player controller to our player. So now before we finishing the video, I want you to go to Window, and then we are going to Package Manager, click on it. Then here in the top, I want going to use the new input system of the Unity. Just in the search bar, I'm going to write input, then the new input system is coming, then I want to install it. So just click on install. So then after it's downloaded, click on yes button. Then he's asking us if we want to save all the changes that we did in our environment, in our scene. We are going to say yes, save it. And as soon as you say yes, it's going to restart your project. Now, as you see, I have that and I install it. So now let's go to our asset. Here I'm going to create a new folder. Going to call it other. Then inside, I'm going to right click, create. In the end, we have an input action. I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to call it player controllers input. So now I'm going to double click on that. It's going to open the new window. Here we have an action map. I'm going to click on the plus button here. Going to call it main. Now here in the right side of it, we have actions. Now I don't need these actions. I'm going to delete it. Instead, I'm going to add new one. Going to call that one movement. Now in the right side, we have a properties. Instead of button, I'm going to change it to value. And the control type instead of button, also to vector 2. So it's the 0, XY, and also for the up and down, left and right. As the next, I'm going to click on this plus button here. Then I'm going to choose add to the vector composite. As you see, it gets some children for the up, down, left, and right. So now this one, we don't need that. So I can delete this one. We just need the up, down, left, and right. Now I'm going also to change the name of that. Instead of 2D vector to move. So now let's go to our app. Here we want to add some key to it. For app, I'm going to use W. So just click on the W button, and then this will come and choose that. For the down, I'm going to use S. So S keyboard. For the left, I'm going to choose R. And for the right, I'm going to use D button. So now we can close that move. So now I'm going to create a new action, going to call it attack. I will put it at bottom. Then for the binding, I'm going to use the left mouse button. So now we can make another one. So I'm going to call it alt attack. Then let's make another one for jumping. So the next one will be when we want to open our inventory. And also we need another button for pausing menu. Another button for actions. So for the interact actions. So now let's give a binding to each of them. So for the jump, I'm going to use the space. For the inventory, I'm going to use I. For the pause menu, I'm going to use escape. For the interaction, I'm going to use E button. Now I'm going to just close them. We need another one for our mouse. So mouse look. Then here instead of the button, I'm going to make it value, and control type is also vector2. Then for the binding, I'm going to use delta mouse. So now we are going to save our input systems. So save the asset. Now let's close it. I'm going to our player, add component, and the component is our player input. So now we are going to add our player controls to our player input. We are going to drag it there. So then instead of send message, I'm going to use the invoke Unity event. Now, as you see, we got some event here. So we movement, attack, alt attack, jump. So do not forget to change it to invoke Unity event, and almost we done everything. So, and later in our script, we are going to write a function and we are going to call the function here. So now see you in the next video.